Good morning. Yesterday we were speaking about this conversion of a continuous additive white Gaussian noise channel into a vector channel. So we took the standard channel model where we considered the transmitted signal as the input signal, that is Si of t, and we added the white Gaussian noise due to the channel considerations, and we said we are going to receive a random signal x of t, which can be obtained by adding the transmitted signal Si of t with the white noise W of t. And this was the signal which we would receive, and we knew how to represent the transmitted signal Si of t, which is nothing but a finite energy signal, in terms of the sum of the individual product of the coefficients with the orthonormal basis functions phi j of t. This is the synthesis equation, and based on this equation we could write the synthesizer like this. Each finite energy signal Si1, Si2 multiplied with the corresponding orthonormal basis functions and then added to get the actual finite energy signal Si of t. Similarly, if I have to do the analysis at the receiver, synthesis is at the transmitter, analysis equation at the receiver by using an analyzer, you get back the coefficients by multiplying the received signal Si of t with individual orthonormal basis functions phi j of t and then integrate it. We call this combination of multiplier and integrator as a correlator. See here. So the analyzer circuit could be written like this. You will have a multiplier where you will multiply the received signal with the individual or orthonormal basis function phi1, phi2, phi3, so on. And then after multiplying, the product will be integrated in the range 0 to t. That will help us get the coefficients after analysis. So we have whatever you have transmitted, you should get back. You will be getting that back provided the input signal was just Si of t. But here we should worry because what we receive here after the channel will not be the transmitted signal as such. It's going to be sum of the transmitted signal plus the white noise. We are calling that as the random signal x of t. And whenever we have a random variable or a random process, we'll take a sample of that to analyze. Okay, remember a random variable or a random process is a huge quantity and it extends up to infinite time and all that. So you just take a sample of that to analyze always. Remember. So that's the physical meaning of the mathematical things which you have studied. Now, once we represent the synthesizer and analyzer, we have to check out how x of t can be represented correctly. We know x of t is the sum of the transmitted signal Si plus the white noise, and we know white noise has zero mean, so its mean value is 0 and its power spectral density or variance is always n naught by 2. And using this, we will assume a random variable xj as the output of one correlator. Say output of each correlator here. Say the first correlator can be assumed as x1, the second one as x2, last one as xn, so on. So if I consider in general xj as the output, random variable output of one correlator, then its sample value small xj, a sample of this bigger random variable, can be obtained as integral from 0 to t, the product of x of t with phi j of t. That's what we have seen. And what was this x of t? We know x of t is represented. It is the received signal. See here, instead of receiving Si of t, I am receiving x of t. And that x of t gets multiplied with the individual orthonormal basis function phi j of t, and then it gets integrated. So it's the same thing what we have written. We have substituted for x of t, which is signal energy, signal plus noise, white noise. And after separating, we could write this output of the jth correlator xj in the form of a vector. This is a vector. It can be Sij, the coefficient, plus Wj, where Wj represents a sample of the white noise. And how do I find Wj? It is nothing but integral of product of the white noise with the jth orthonormal basis function. W of t into phi j of t dt. This is how we represent Wj. Please remember all these derivations. You have to practice. So we know that white noise is a zero mean Gaussian process and its power spectral density is n0 by 2. Then a sample of that white noise will Wj of t will also have zero mean and power spectral density n0 by 2. So the correlator outputs will have zero mean values and Sij and PSD n0 by 2 for Wj of t. Next, what we did, we considered a new random process x dash of t, the sample function of which can be defined like this. We are just considering this equation. We are going in the backward direction. And in the end, we can write x of t in terms of x dash of t and this summation. X of t, when we substitute and simplify, we'll get x dash of t as white noise minus this value, which we are calling as W dash of t, that is processed white noise in the bank of n correlators. Hence, this sample function x dash of t depends only on the channel noise W of t, as you can see. So, on the basis of this equation, we could write the expression for the received signal x of t as the sum of the assumed random process x dash of t plus, this is what we had written. So we started off with this equation. I am just interchanging the positions of x of t and x dash of t. And what happens now? We know x dash of t is represented as W dash of t. What is W dash of t? It is W of t minus summation Wj into phi j for j varying from 1 to n. So remember that this could be the standard vectorial representation of the received signal. Our next job is to characterize. I have to characterize this function. I have to see how to characterize this function and get a meaning for this function. Okay. So we'll try to do that now. Remember, this is also another very important derivation and lots of mathematics which you have to practice. Otherwise, you will not remember. We'll be doing only mathematical manipulations here. So you can write the title as Statistical Characterization of the Correlator Outputs. Statistical Characterization of each of the correlator outputs. So what is the meaning of the correlator outputs? And when I say statistical characterization, what do we normally do in statistical characterization? You will be finding what? The mean and the variance. First moment of any statistical signal, whenever you do statistical characterization, you will be finding its first and second moments. Normally, we stop at second moment. We don't go for the third moment. All this you've studied in ESLA. But anyway, we are repeating. So here, if I say statistical characterization of any random variable or any signal, always remember you're generally finding its mean and its variance in a general sense. Okay. So let's start off. let's say, let x of t denote a random process. Let x of t denote a random process. Okay. And small x of t be a sample. Remember, always we'll consider the capital one to represent the random process or random variable and the small one to be a sample of that function. So it can be a sample function of it. I'll just write it like this. Let small f x of t be a sample function of this random process, which is denoted by capital X of t. And remember, let me say this x of t represents the received signal. This capital X of t and small x of t is a representation of the received signal. Please remember, you have to understand the physical significance of all the mathematics which we do. Only then you can relate and apply it to communication. Okay. So please remember that this x of t which we are considering is nothing but the received signal. Therefore, I'll say correspondingly, let capital Xj denote the random variable whose sample value or whose sample function is small xj, which represents what? Till now we have used the same representation, the correlator output. And remember here j varies from 1 to n. So each of the correlator which we have considered here in the analyzer, everything here, every individual correlator output is treated as xj, x1, x2, x3. That is what we are considering here. Okay. So let the capital Xj denote a random variable and small xj denote the corresponding sample function of that random variable. Now we know according to the AWGN model, according to the AWGN channel model, that's the one which we are using, right? Model, x of t, the received signal is a Gaussian process. Therefore, any other small part of it, xj is a small part of x of t. So where x of t represents the total received signal, xj represents the received signal in every individual correlator. Okay. Xj is also a Gaussian process or a Gaussian random variable and will be or can be, I'll say, and can be characterized completely by its mean and variance. This is what we are going to find next. I told you characterization of a random variable means it is usually finding the mean and variance of the random variable. That is what we call as statistical characterization. So total capital X of t is the complete received variable and xj represents the received variable in each branch of the analyzer or the output of each single correlator. I can call it as xj, and let's try to characterize that xj, which is a random variable. Capital Xj is the random variable and small xj will be one sample function of that random variable, and that function which we have to characterize, we'll find the mean and variance of that function. Okay. Also, remember in this process, there is a W, white noise process. So let's say let W denote the random variable represented, each random variable, this is capital W, represented by its sample function. Every random variable should be represented by a small random function, a small wj. This I'll call capital Wj, denote the random variable. Remember, this is the white noise in each branch, white noise in each correlator or in each branch of the analyzer. Okay, please understand that. So let it denote the random variable. If you want in brackets, you can write that. This is white noise in each correlator of the receiver or analyzer. So receiver or analyzer is what we are talking. And Wj represents a sample function of this capital Wj, which is the actual random variable. This can be assumed as produced by the jth correlator, okay, in response to the total white noise component, I'll write, in response to the total white noise component W of t. Remember, the total white noise which is added in the channel is W of t, and Wj represents the white noise component in the jth correlator. I told you each correlator or each branch is identified separately to analyze, and in that we'll consider the part of the white noise process as Wj. Okay, so this random variable also has zero mean. If you want to write it like this, zero mean. Remember, because white noise has zero mean, a part of that white noise Wj will also, let me say Wj will also have zero mean, and we can find what would be the power spectral density. Okay. We'll see this. Let me consider the received signal separately and let's try to find its mean and variance. Therefore, for the received signal xj, the mean, how do we represent mean? Mu xj, or I can write it as the expected value of the given random variable xj. And what did we write xj as yesterday? We derived a expression for xj here. What was xj written as? It is the coefficient Sij plus the noise part of the white noise Wj. So using equation 4, you say this can be written as Sij plus Wj from equation 4. So we used equation 4 and we got this expression for, we have replaced this vector xj, which is the output of the jth correlator, with the sum of the coefficient Sij plus Wj. Okay. Now I can separate this out. Expected value of Sij is a number. It will remain as Sij plus expected value of Wj. Remember, just now we said the random variable Wj also will have zero mean. When I say expected value, it represents the mean of the signal. So what can this be equal to? This is equal to Sij, because what? E of Wj is 0. Remember, if the mean, if W of t has 0 mean, a part of that W of t will also have 0 mean. Wj is just one part of the total W. W of t is the actual white noise process, and Wj is just the one branch exert of this W of t, one correlator exert of this W of t. So it will also have 0 mean. So considering the mean value of Wj as 0, we got the mean value of the signal Xj to be Sij. Okay, remember this. Do we continue the equation numbers? Okay, this will be equation 8. So the mean is given as the coefficient value Sij. Similarly, let us find the variance. Variance of Xj. How do we find the variance? Sigma square, right? Variance is represented as sigma square for this variable Xj we are trying to find. This can be found as the expected value of the random variable minus its mean and square of this. So usually how do we find the variance? The actual random variable minus its mean value and the whole thing square will give you the variance. Let's try to find this slowly. You expand this. This can be, what is this? Xj square minus 2xj into what? Mu of xj, a square, a minus b the whole square, a square minus 2ab plus b square, mu xj the whole square, correct? This is how we can simplify this. And this can be written as expected value of xj square minus 2 into xj. And what is the mean value of xj? Just now we found the mean value of xj is nothing but Sij. So I can say this is Sij, and here also Sij square. Is this okay? Yes or no? See, we are just trying to determine this. Now, if I separately take out this expectation or mean, I can find the mean value of xj square minus 2 times Sij into mean value of xj. See, I'm just taking this expectation function inside, plus mean value of Sij square will remain as Sij square. What is the expectation of xj square? What is xj? Xj is nothing but summation of Sij plus Wj. Please remember, we always wrote here itself while finding the mean, I wrote Xj is nothing but Sij plus Wj from equation 4. Okay. So the correlator output at any point of time can be the coefficient plus the noise component in that correlator. So wherever I have xj, I am substituting Sij plus Wj whole square minus 2 into Sij. And what is the expected value of xj? Just now we saw expected value of xj is nothing but its mean. It's given as Sij. So I'll directly put this as Sij plus Sij square. Let me again separate, again this is in the form a plus b the whole square. So Sij square plus 2 Sij into Wj plus Wj square, expected value of the whole thing, minus 2 Sij square plus Sij square. How does this simplify? Wherever I have Sij square, its expected value is also the same. This will have the same mean. It won't have anything different. So I can take this out of the expectation function. Plus, what will I have here? 2 times Sij into expected value of Wj plus expected value of Wj square, this one, and minus 2 Sij square plus Sij square will become minus Sij square. I can simplify. Again, here you have plus Sij square and minus Sij square, which could be cancelled. So tell me what is left. We'll have, what would happen to the, what is the expected value of Wj? Anyone? While finding the mean we did, what would be the expected value of Wj? Since Wj is also a part of the white noise process which has zero mean value. Remember that always. W of t has zero mean. So Wj will also have zero mean. So wherever you have expected value of Wj, you can take it as 0. So here this value becomes 0, expected value of Wj. So this whole term, the second term will reduce to 0. So what is left is just expected value of the square of this Wj. So let's try to find what this means. Therefore, I can say the variance of the given signal, variance of the given signal xj is given as the expected value of the square of the individual component of the correlator noise, that is Wj. Wj represents the correlator noise in each branch, each correlator noise which is part of the complete white noise. Let me call this as equation 9. So this is the variance and the mean, you got it as Sij. So for the given signal xj, which is an individual correlator output, the mean value will be Sij and the variance will be this expectation of Wj square. So now let's try to simplify this further and let's try to analyze what will happen to this expected value of Wj square. You say we know that Wj, do you recall what is Wj? We had written Wj yesterday. What is Wj? From equation 4. Integral 0 to t w of t phi j of t dt. So please recall Wj. Wj is given as integral 0 to t w of t phi j of t dt. Okay. Therefore, the variance can be written for this signal as the expected value of integral w of t phi j of t dt. And when I have something like this, and remember I have to find the square. I need Wj square, right? So I'll take one function as w of t, and the second function I can assume as w of another variable u into phi j of u into du. Okay, this whole thing. See, I need Wj square whenever I find the variance. And if I have to find the expected value or the variance of wj square, I can split this expected value, which is expressed in terms of this integral, as a function of two different variables, w of t and w of u. And later on, we will analyze, combine and see. Okay. So how would you simplify this? This would be expected value. Let me bring the integrals together. This is 0 to t, right? Capital T, sorry. 0 to t, double integral. We have integral, I'll take the functions phi j of t and phi j of u under the integral. Then the multiplied with w of t, w of u, dt, du. So it is expected value of double integral of these two by combining these two functions. This is how you can represent the variance in terms of the integral function. And now all what we need to do is manipulations. Let me exchange the or positions of interchanging, I'll say, interchanging the positions of expectation and integration functions. E is the expectation function and integration functions. What will I do? I'll take integral first. Double integral 0 to t, 0 to t, phi j of t, phi j of u. And then I'll take expected value of w of t into w of u. I'm taking the expectation inside. And as usual, we have dt, du. Okay. So it's the same thing. We can easily interchange the positions of the two functions, that is expectation and integration. Now, do we know the, what do we call as the expected value or the mean of the dot product of two functions? You say, we know that the mean of dot product of two functions is nothing but, what do I represent as R? You have to recall your ESLA and all what is the, even here we have done PSD of various signals, line codes when we did. What was R representing? Yes. See, if you're silent like this, it's very difficult. I told you, based on your performance in the classes also, your internal marks will be varied. So if you give answers in the class and if you are attentive, at least all that will be considered. Please remember. We in the recent meeting, it was decided a portion of the internal marks will be removed from the tests and it will be scheduled to your regular performance in the classes. So please be attentive. Please try to answer. At least put it on the chat. If you can unmute and answer, it's very good. If not, at least put it on the chat. Simple questions I'm asking. So the expected value of the inner product of two functions always represents the autocorrelation between those two functions, and I can represent it as RW of T and U. T and U are the two variables. Okay. So this autocorrelation function is always given as the expected value or mean of the inner product of the two functions. Therefore, we were trying to find the variance, which we wrote it as double integral phi j of t, phi j of u. And for this expected value, I'll write it as the autocorrelation function between t and u, the two variables, dt du. Okay. So let me call this equation 10 now. Yeah. Let's call this equation 10. So we got a little better expression for the variance of the signal xj. Now we can say since the white noise process is a stationary process. What do you mean by a stationary process? Can you tell me what is a stationary process? Anybody? Actually, even I defined what is this. It's not just what you've studied in ESLA. Even I have defined what is a stationary process in the beginning. Or in statistics and maths, you always define. Can somebody tell me what is a stationary process? Yes? Please recall and answer. You have to be attentive. See, a stationary process is, okay, joint probability remains the same with respect to time. You're right, Aditya. What else? So, along with that, its mean and variance also will not change with time. So, please remember in a stationary process, okay, most of the random processes which we assume, we are going to assume as stationary processes only. Its mean and variance will not change with time. And its joint probability distribution function also won't change with time. Please remember that. And if at all a given process is not stationary, we will always try to convert it to a stationary process first, and then we will try to analyze it. Remember, this white noise is considered as a stationary process. Therefore, its autocorrelation function, the autocorrelation function ACR, I'll say. Therefore, the ACR function RW of t, comma u depends only on the time difference. It depends only on the time difference between the two functions t minus u. So this function, the first function is occurring at time t, w of t. The second function is occurring at time u. So the autocorrelation function will depend only on the time difference between these two functions, that is t minus u or t difference of u. And also this W of t white noise process has constant power spectral density, n naught by. Since the autocorrelation function depends only on the difference in their times, that is t minus u, and also white noise has constant power spectral density n naught by 2, the autocorrelation function Rw of t comma u can be written as n naught by 2 into delta of t minus u. So we can express the autocorrelation function which we have defined here as having constant power spectral density n naught by 2, and remember its value depends only on the difference in time t minus u, so into this impulse function. If you remember, for white noise, we had derived last time when we did PCS, we derived the autocorrelation function of white noise, which came in this form, n naught by 2 into delta of t or delta of f, like this. So here also we are using the same representation. Okay. So we will say that the autocorrelation function is given by this equation. Let me call it as equation 11. Therefore, the variance sigma xj square, which we had written as double integral phi j of t into phi j of u and into the autocorrelation function. In place of autocorrelation function Rw, I'll write n naught by 2 delta t minus u dt du. So we are going to replace this. In the textbook, you will not have the complete derivation. So please write down correctly. Okay. So we will replace the autocorrelation function with this representation. Now, do you remember the shifting property of the impulse? Any function multiplied with an impulse, according to shifting property, the given function will exist where the impulse existed. So what can I do for this? I'll simplify this. N naught by 2 is a constant. We'll bring it outside. Then we have integral 0 to t, say phi j of t. And this second function, integral 0 to t, phi j of u into delta t minus u. This also I can write it as phi j of t dt, you say, because delta t minus u exists only at u is equal to t. Remember, this is an impulse. This will exist only at u is equal to t and not anywhere else. So if I consider, you can also say here, the shifting property according to shifting property of impulse. Shifting or sampling property, what does it say? It says integral of any function multiplied with the impulse, what can be represented as that function existing only where the impulse exists. So here this impulse exists only at t is equal to u. So I can say phi j of u into delta t minus u du can just be represented as phi j of t. That's all we have done. So one integral sign has been removed from here because using the shifting property, this whole thing will be simply be equal to phi j of t dt because this impulse will exist only when t is equal to u. So please remember this. Now what will this simplify to? This becomes, this function variance has become integral 0 to t phi j square of t dt. What does this represent? When I integrate a given orthonormal basis function in one time period, what does it give you? This usually represents the energy, right? This gives you the energy of the basis function, energy of the basis function phi j of t. And how much will that energy be? Even this we have assumed initially only. What will be the value of that energy? The energy of an orthonormal basis function, which is equal to 1. Yes or no? The energy in any orthonormal basis function is always equal to 1, we said, when j is equal to k. If you remember, initially we had written all those properties. Okay. Therefore, finally, to one level we'll be defining the variance of the given signal xj. Okay, the output of one individual correlator can be just n naught by 2 for all values of j. Remember, j varies from 1 to n. So all values of j, this will give you the value of the variance. So the variance in the signal is n0 by 2. The mean of the signal is Sij. So this variance, we got it as a function of the component of the white noise Wj, and we further analyzed it to show that that variance turns out to be just the variance of white noise, which is n0 by 2. Therefore, you say this is equation 12. Therefore, summarizing, all correlator outputs denoted by xj for j varying from 1 to n. All the correlator outputs which are denoted by xj with j varying from 1 to n have mean values Sij and equal variances of value, how much? n0 by 2, which is same as that of the white noise process. So remember, in summary, each and every correlator output we are able to show. Every correlator output we started off by calling it as xj, a random variable xj. Each correlator output represented by random variable xj will have the mean values of every correlator in that analyzer circuit is Sij, and each of the correlator will have equal variance of what? The power spectral density of noise. Variance is also power spectral density n0 by 2, which would be same as that of the white noise process. Okay. So we are able to show this. Now let's continue to show what will happen to the covariance or let's say the autocorrelation function when we have two different signals. Okay. So proceeding on similar lines, let's say similar lines, it can be shown that the Gaussian random variables xj with j varying from 1 to n are not correlated or uncorrelated, So let's try to prove this. They can ask you to show that the Gaussian random variables xj are not correlated. So proof for this is to find the covariance of the two of any two assumed Gaussian random variables. Okay, so let me just first assume two Gaussian random variables. Let xj and xk be two random variables. Let xj and xk be two random variables. Then the covariance of xj and xk. How do we find the covariance? Covariance is a method of finding the ACR function between two random variables. Do you remember the expression for covariance? It is expected value of the given random variable minus its mean and the second random variable minus its mean. So it is the product of the expected value of what? So it's like taking the variance of the individual functions. Okay, the difference between the random variable and its mean and the second random variable and its mean. How do I simplify this? Next, all what we have to do is simplification. Xj minus, what is the mean value of xj? We have already found from equation 4, mu xj can be written as Sij, and similarly xk minus, what is the mean value of xk? I can write it as the coefficient Sik. Okay, you say from equation 4. You call this equation 13. How to find the covariance between two random variables. So it is represented with this equation. And from equation 4, what do we know? We know that mu xj is Sij and mu xk is Sik. That's what we have substituted here. Okay. So let's simplify this further. What can I write this as? I have let me multiply xj into xk, then minus xj into Sik minus xk into Sij minus Si, no, it becomes plus, minus into minus, Sij into Sik, correct? I'm just multiplying these terms and I have to find the expected value of each of these things. What would you get? You can separate out expected value of xj into xk. We have to find out. Then minus expected value of xj. Sik, expected value is Sik, it's a number. Minus expected value of xk into Sij plus Sij into Sik. This expected value will be the same. Next, to find the expected value of xj and xk, I have to consider the representation for xj and xk separately. Remember, what did we write xj as? Xj could be written as Sij plus Wj. Equation 4 again. In equation 4, we represented the output of the correlator, jth correlator, to be Sij plus Wj. I am writing the same thing. And output of the kth correlator can be written as Sik plus Wk. I have to still find the expected value of that. Minus, what was the expected value of xj? What was the mean of xj? It was Sij, right? How many times we are doing the same thing again and again? The mean value of xj, random variable xj, is Sij. So you substitute Sij there for this term into Sik. What would be the mean value of the random variable xk? It would be Sik into Si. So this value would be Sik into this Sij plus Sij into Sik. So here I have minus Sij into Sik twice and plus Sij. I think one of them we can cancel. So what remains? Again, I have to multiply the terms inside. It's all simplification. This will be Sij into Sik plus Sij into Wk plus Sik into Wj plus Wj into Wk. So I have to find the expected value of this whole thing. And among these three terms, what remains is Sij into Sik. Simplify that. Here, expected value of Sij into Sik remains as Sij into Xik. Remember, for numbers, the mean value is the same, plus Sij into expected value of Wk. I am taking this expectation function inside, plus Sik into expected value of Wj plus expected value of Wj into Wk for this one, minus Sij into Sik. See, all what I'm doing is I'm just taking this expectation function inside. The expected value of this remains the same. Expected value of Wk, can you recall? Recall that what? Expected value of Wj. What is the mean of the white noise process? Mean of the white noise process is 0. So mean of a sample or a part of the white noise process will also be 0. So please remember the mean. Expected value means it is mean. Mean of these two would be 0. So you substitute that. I think this plus Sij and this will cancel. These two will become 0. What is left here is just expected value of Wj into Wk. This is our covariance function between Xj and Xk. I think we'll continue with this tomorrow.